Meanwhile, it appears that nothing in the entire world truly suggests that humanity still harbors any lingering illusions or false hopes about the intentions and actions of Vladimir Putin. And the Ministry of Culture of the Russian Federation has come up with a very cunning move following the example of the Sudzha pipeline. They decided to repeat this trick, and through the pipeline this time, the pipeline of cultural T-send, a model Putin supporter, conductor Gergiev, all the way to Italy. He was supposed to sneak through this pipeline of cultural ties, and even there in Italy, put on a little concert in the courtyard at the palace, by the way, at the Vanvitelli Palace in Caserta. An amazing palace. So what we see is that Russia is still obsessively trying to push its way into Europe, attempting to restore its broken cultural presence there, and more broadly in civilized countries. At the same time, it's important to understand that Gergiev is a devoted fan not only of Putin, but also of the so-called special military operation. He is an outright supporter of occupation, genocide, and mass killings. Blood from Mariupol and Bucha drips and splatters from his conductor's baton. Gergiev is no less vile and criminal a figure than any of Putin's generals or war propagandists. And the Italian authorities realized this just in time. Although, as part of a certain festival that was supposed to take place in Caserta, Gergiev's concert had already been scheduled and advertised. Nevertheless, Italy woke up and sent Gergiev packing, dismissing him with distaste, just sent him away without giving any explanation. Of course, this is not the first and not the last attempt by the Russian Federation to culturally seep into free countries. Sometimes Russia gets into these moods and it starts to worry about the reputation it has firmly acquired as a man-eater, a lawless outcast that doesn't belong among civilized people. But there will probably be more attempts to break into the world. But this precedent with Gergiev proves that reasonable disgust prevails, even in Italy, which outwardly doesn't seem to be affected or troubled by the war and is generally preoccupied solely with its own affairs. Let's note that this outrage toward Gergiev, despite the outward composure of the Italians, was evidenced by as many as 20,000 signatures, 20,000 signatures from Italian citizens who took the trouble to find out what kind of person this Gergiev is, the one who was planning to wave a Russian baton in their country. And following Gergiev, pianist Romanovsky was also sent packing yet too. With an innocent look and wide-eyed naivety, decided he wanted to play the piano in Bologna. No one, in fact, would have objected if this Romanovsky simply intended to give a concert, but he made the foolish mistake in 2022 of being tempted by a fee. And not just any fee, Russian fee, and he went on to give a concert among the ruins of the drama theater in Mariupol. And this happened at a time when fresh blood from children killed by Putin's air raids was still seeping from under the concrete. It's entirely possible, no one really knows who this Romanovsky is, that he might not be a staunch Putin supporter or a Z follower, but the pianist made the fatal mistake of his life. And what's even more interesting is that it was Italy that uncovered this. It should be noted that the concert he planned to give in Bologna was not his first attempt, not the first time he tried to return to a civilized audience. But there's one thing, the most important thing to understand. All artists, even those who have only slightly dabbled in Putinism, are completely unaware of the bitterness that awaits them in the future and of their fate as a whole. singers, dancers, figure skaters, anyone who has even once defiled themselves by supporting the special military operation, by participating in Putin's repressions, or by being complicit, even ideologically, in Putin's war crimes, they already bear an indelible mark and what is called a permanent cancellation. What is glorified and romanticized in Russia is recognized throughout the world as Putin's dirty war, as occupation, and as Hitlerism 2.0. And so for this Romanovsky, who is, well, just a pianist, even if a famous one for him, everything in Europe is over forever. And indeed, before he tried to sneak into Bologna, he was quietly, very quietly, if you remember, planning to tinkle out some Rachmaninov in a hall on the outskirts of Rome. But even then, he got hit with backlash. Everything was cancelled, and the concert was annulled. So we see that these attempts at coming back are completely pointless.